Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. Whew, happy new week and happy weekend. Hope you're having a great time. If you're in States and you have a long weekend, even better. Right, we're at full speed in 2024. Things are happening for some of us quite unexpectedly, or maybe not as fast as we hope for. We're still full on committed to New Year's resolutions. There's a lot going on in the collective, seriously, a lot. Apart, of course, from a lot of tragedies and cataclysmic events from the very first days of the year. But this is like on fire. The January has been on fire so far. I am gonna do a classic read today. This week I will be preparing for the full moon readings, and also want to do a transit update, so I'll be doing more on the astrology in general, what's happening, what should you be paying attention to, and I'll probably be doing more workshops around personal astrology. So check out my website mindfulbamboo.com for what I currently have. There is like a birth chart class that you can take. It has a workbook. If you have always been wondering, like, what do these things mean, or we talk about different planet placements, or we say, no, it's gonna be a full moon in Leo, what does that mean for me? Like, should I care? In what way, right? Like, all these things you can find out using that class, and use it, the workbook that I'm providing with it. And you can purchase it on my website. I do have a few free classes on my other channel, Mindful Bamboo, so check out those as well. And in the meantime, let's get started with the twin flame reading. I have one of my favorite decks with me today, Keepers of the Light. So let's get some guidance for Divine Feminine first of all. Oof. And things are jumping out. We have Odin, Psychic Insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. We kind of saw that yesterday with the Seer card, right? To me, this is very much a similar card in this deck, right? Trust your intuition and don't pay as much attention to the external, to what's going on right now in the physical, because your brain is, of course, trying to play it in, trying to use that information to analyze, to overanalyze, right? And it's almost like it's a distraction, right? And the biggest lesson right now is not to get too distracted into that. Notice it, take a note, maybe journal about it, but not to the point where you lose sight of what's truly important. And for a lot of you, I'm getting that it's about how you feel, your self-care, your kind of like self-awareness right now, where you are you headed in the right direction, how you feel about things, right? Whether it's personally, professionally, with yourself, with others, right? Like, that is key right now, to calibrate that to the point where you are happy with it, where you feel good about it, where you don't feel overwhelmed or overworked, right? Like, those things are the focus, really, should be. For masculines, we have Bridget, inner strength. Move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. So kind of a similar energy, really. That's why I was talking about the collective, because I'm hearing this just across the board with the collective, and just in general with everyone. Of course, as light workers, we feel it more loudly, vividly. It touches us more. And not only from our own perspective and like how our field of energy reacts to like the transits and what's going on, but also because we are picking up on the energies of other people in the collective at large, right? That goes both ways. So of course it impacts us, whether we like to admit it or not. Okay. So yeah, masculines, if you are looking for some strength, for some courage, for willpower right now, you need to find it within. Don't look for it in other people, in, I don't know, crash courses in how do I do this, how do I nail that. It's within you. And yeah, I know it's a loaded topic. It's like, oh my god, of course, like, it's such a cliche, but it is true. And this is a general reading, so I don't really have the time to go too much into the depths of it. But if you are interested to learn more, I do coaching sessions, I do private readings, so feel free to reach out. Okay, let's see what we have with tarot. Got my beautiful mystical moments deck with me today, and look at that beautiful temperance card on the bottom of this deck. It's talking about patience and admiring the beautiful moments around us. We're in Capricorn season right now. To me, this speaks about nature, Mother Gaia, you know, the gifts that we get from Earth, from the weather around us, those kind of things. And it's something to recognize as the language of the universe and appreciate the abundance, the patience actually that the earth has, Mother Nature has with us. Ace of Cups just jumped out at me. Okay, let's get some clarifiers from After Tarot. What about the deck? Four of Coins, which has a death in this, deck. So the transformation is happening. You can't really hold on to the old you or old life much longer. Oof, scary thought, but also exciting. You see, it's how you picture it to yourself. It's how you ride that wave of newness and change, right? What do you make of it? Do you have something that you're trying to bring into your life? Use the wave, right? Make things a little easier for yourself. Don't white knuckle it. That was a message for someone. So, feminines, wow, you have Seven of Cups clarified by Two of Cups. And this is after Tarot, Two of Cups. So it's like, yes, thoughts of happily ever after, of union with either a twin or a strong soulmate on the back of it. Like, that's a big inspiration for you right now, even if you don't really recognize it that way. And I'm getting that it's helping you make some choices in the direction that you are taken into, what you're prioritizing, right? Because the Seven of Cups is like making a choice out of a lot of different things. And in this deck specifically, because it's got this fairy energy and like wishing on the stars, like almost like, oh, I have all these wishes. Which one do I want to go for first, right? And then you're making choice towards love, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful motivation. It's definitely a sensible priority. Just I would just say immediately what I'm getting on top of this is make sure that you're not rushing for a specific result in the physical, right? It's more about changing your vision and attitude and how you I'm getting treat yourself and treat others, but it's also how you recognize what's going on around you, right? First and foremost, and then how you act yourself. It also doesn't mean that you're supposed to just, well, forgiving is a big topic actually, but it doesn't mean that you should let people in, or even if you are confident this is your person, it doesn't necessarily mean you should let them in if they're not awakened, if they're not treating you right? Because it's a big part of it, like it goes around, right? And if you cannot hold that space and that boundary and that standard high, then how do you expect them to change and do different, right? It's almost like it's another round of testing here, right? To see how ready you are, or like, are you ready to cave in just because there's a label that you see on that person that it's your person, even if they don't treat you right? Like, that's not really the point. And it's not really union. That's what I mean when I'm like, okay, be careful how you unpack it to yourself. And look at that, Divine Masculine, 10 of Cups clarified by 6 of Swords. And again, in this deck, 6 of Swords is like you've reached the safe haven destination. Like it's a new land that you're finally like getting your feet on the ground, and you've looked around and you go, okay, I can work with that. Yep. So it's been, for a while, it's been like unknown territory, and it was scary, and we were getting that in the readings. Now it's like, okay, I found my way out. Like, yeah, I've got resources, like I have skills to work them. So yeah, it's new, it's different, but I can work with that, right? But that's the on the back of it, right? On the foreground, they're also looking for happiness, for fulfillment, and in this specific deck, it's like you can't even, like, sometimes it's the community, it's the tribe, and being together. This is the two happily ever after, right? Him and her, that kind of tandem of masculine and feminine. It's also like, to me, I always pay attention to like different elements, right? They are underwater together as like sea creatures, they are together above the water as humans. It's beautiful, right? It's like this harmony that's timeless, that's going across distances and any kind of prejudices, right? So that's what they keep in mind. That's the point they want to get to, where they don't pay as much attention to like the outside world, and they can focus on this beautiful image. They can appreciate this, they can recognize it, and they can like build their life around this kind of space, around this emotional fulfillment, not around searching for money or external titles, right? Or some sort of other recognition, whatever it means to them. It doesn't have to be that specific, by the way. These are usually the examples we give because they're the most obvious, and that's what a lot of us are striving for, right? Maybe they're looking for validation from their parents because that's their storyline, right? Maybe their parents have been like super successful and well known, and they've always lived in their shadow, for example, right? It's a more narrow storyline, but it's possible, right? So it doesn't really have to be a job, right? But usually that's what it is. Masculine energies are kind of ingrained in with this idea that you're supposed to be successful, and once they decide like I'm gonna be successful here because this is cool, this is great, I love this, right? And again, there could be a bunch of good reasons there mixed with a bunch of not so healthy reasons why they go for it, right? But then that becomes a fixed idea that they like, I'm not gonna rest until I get there. That kind of moment. Additional question. Knight of Cups clarified by Six of Pentacles. Yeah, and we've seen Knight of Cups actually recently in a few different positions, but essentially this is like that giving and receiving love. And remember yesterday when I saw Knight of Cups, I actually spoke about receiving being a big deal. So what are the twins working through right now in terms of giving and receiving love, in terms of the law of reciprocity with each other and with the world at large? For feminines, we have Seven of Swords, clarified by Two of Wands, another twosome card. And even the Seven of Swords, like usually it's more about like sneaky behavior and something dishonest. And here, yeah, we also have like taking eggs and everything. But even like, look at this, like, let's say this creature is stealing the eggs, but they're hugging the egg, right? Like trying to make it comfortable. Like it's, yeah. You know, that's what I want for you. So to me, this is like, sometimes, you know, that when they say that mothering can go into smothering. So this is kind of that vibe that I'm getting here, that sometimes, of course, it's not about mothering necessarily, right? But that idea when you care about something or someone too much. So the feminines are seeing how sometimes they overgive to the extent that it becomes unbearable for the other person. Or they don't feel like they have something to say here, right? Like that's when it doesn't feel like that equal give and take, right? Because the person is like, feels uncomfortable 360 degrees, right? It seems like it was a good intention, but it doesn't work out that way. So the feminine is looking at those scenarios to see what does healthy given mean, right? And what is that exchange supposed to be? For masculines, Ace of Swords clarified by Nine of Swords, so together 10 of Swords. End of a cycle around figuring out how honest they can be with what they have to give, or how comfortable are they to receive. You know, a lot of times we're taught to be polite, and even if things aren't going great, we're supposed to be polite and respectful, especially, I mean, if it's our significant other, even more so, right? We're supposed to protect their feelings, etc., etc. So this is like the discovery where to some extent, like it's not okay anymore, right? It's like the person is invading your space, or, you know, they're making you uncomfortable, so you're going into low vibe, right? And it's already a big gap and a big disbalance in the connection, in the communication. We have swords here. That's when overthinking starts, right? And it's never balanced. I'm immediately here in a variety of scenarios here where masculines start overthinking, right? And it becomes that vicious cycle. Like, something's not right. Am I doing something wrong? Are they just being insane? You know? Oof. Yeah. So this is like being honest, how important sometimes it is to be honest about things that make you uncomfortable about your partner, or the way they communicate, the way they relate to you, or the expectations that they have. The masculines are learning, and it's a super important skill for the union. It may not sound like that at first, but seriously, think about it, feminines watching. It's a very important skill for masculines to be able to sense that in themselves and to recognize that at a certain point, they need to speak up when they're uncomfortable, when they're in pain, when they feel like it's too much or it's not enough, or like something is not right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna hurt somebody else's feelings. Like, you can still do it politely. You can still open up in a way where you're sharing more of yourself, right? Not like you do this and you're doing that and that, right? Like, not like pointing fingers, but more like, I don't feel comfortable with that. This doesn't work for me, right? Where you're explaining more of like, this is where I am. And we should, like, let's try and do this different because I'm very uncomfortable, right? That's where the conversation begins, the truthful conversation. The Ace of Swords conversation was the key, right? Where we can find the key to this problem. How the feminine see in masculines. The Hierophant clarified by Two of Swords. Oof. Yeah, so there is like a seeking of understanding or seeking of higher guidance, possibly from mentors, from figures of authority. So they see the masculines are trying to find their truth or the right direction or the right solution for some, and they are going to sources of information that could include people that they trust, or they're looking, like when you have a problem and you're looking for a subject matter expert in that area. It's like, okay, I have a legal issue, I'll find a lawyer that deals with this kind of situations. That sort of idea. So whatever the issue is, they're looking for that kind of professional help. But I know that when I'm saying professional help, 90% of people are thinking about therapists and, mental health professionals. But that's not necessarily what I mean. It could be, but not necessarily. The point is they're trying to find a solution. They don't want to live in the problem anymore. They are tired of this stalemate in that situation they've been in. How are the feminines, the masculines in the feminines? Page of Pentacles, clarified by Nine of Cups. Wow, that's a very light-hearted energy, very pure and kind of like innocent, really, right? It's like figuring out the pleasures in life, what makes me happy in like a very simple, straightforward way, right? Like, not everything has to be about the meaning of life, right? Or Akashic records, or I don't know, our ancient cosmic souls or something like that. Like, sometimes it's important to figure out what those simple pleasures are and indulge in them. So that's what the masculines see and feminines do. All right, I hope this was useful for you guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.